real as it seems, the American dream ain't nothing but another calculated scheme to get us locked up, shut up and back and chained. Who denies of the future? Rob our name. Kept my history a mystery, but now I see the American dream wasn't meant for me. Cause Lady Liberty's a hypocrite, she lied to me.
All power to the people. This is Black Superman. I'm basically, in this video, I'm going to get into the 10-point platform. Well, let me slow down. One of the things you got to realize is the Black Panther Party was like one of the most potent weapons we had against the establishment. With the exception of the movement of Marcus Garvey in the, the earlier 20th century, the Black Panther Party pretty much is the only true solution we had as a people. And this is one of the reasons why it's the most overlooked, or the most, I would say the most movement that been damaged. You know what I mean? When you think about it, the Black Panther Party got more heroes than any organization that I can think of when it comes to the liberation of not only just African people, which is first and foremost, but actually everybody, you know what I'm saying, that's living under this oppression. You know what I mean? From, George Jackson, John Huggins, you know what I mean, Bunchy Carter, Fred Hampton, you know what I mean, Geronimo Pratt, the list goes on and on, the servant himself, and ones that's, we still got, H. Rap, you know what I mean, we still got political prisoners, Chip Fitzgerald, you know what I mean, what's the call, free them all, you know what I mean. So when it comes to real liberation of people, I'm just going to say this movement put their money where their mouth is, ironically, you know what I'm saying. So I'm going to be getting into the 10-point platform, which explains the solution as a people, or let's explains the problem per se that we as a people, and this is the goal. This is a similar platform you may see when you even actually get a final call paper. So the issues of African people is very well known if you just look, but I'm going to go into them. Start with number 1. We want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our black and oppressed communities. That pretty much speaks for itself. It said, we believe that black and oppressed people will not be free until we are able to determine our destinies in our own communities ourselves by fully controlling all the institutions that exist within our communities. You know what that means, folks? That means owning the establishments in your neighborhood. Not only just the houses that you're living in, but the stores, getting full control. Now, I ain't talking about paying rent and mortgage. I'm talking about owning it. You know what I mean? So that's what we want. We want freedom. You know what I mean? Under this arrangement, you don't have that power. I don't care what nobody say. Number 2, we want full employment for our people. And it's another paragraph following each of the general 10 terms. I'm going to get into some of them, some I'm not going to get into, but that pretty much says it for itself. We want full employment for our people. One of the things is that the government, you want to call yourself a citizen? Hell, your government, I believe every government have an obligation to take care of its citizens. So with that being said, this government has failed you as a people. If you're unemployed, there should be nobody unemployed in America unless they just don't like working. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be no shortage of jobs. You shouldn't have to compete for jobs. They want to say, well, oh, what is your skills? Anybody can fucking sweep a mop or say, can I help you? You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to hear, so that's one of the flaws in society today, is that they fail in their obligation to even employ its own citizens. Yet they extract revenue and taxes from you every day. Number 3, we want to end to the robbery by the capitalists of our black oppressed communities. Pretty much everybody, and this is where it comes to the whole, nationhood and being who you are. You know what I mean? The people that control the institutions in your community are not you. Therefore, in the capitalist competition arrangement, they are basically a parasite. They are sucking from you. So therefore, the robbery. So we want to end to that. You know what I mean? And I'm going to actually read further into that. It says, we believe that the racist government has robbed us and we are now demanding the overdue debt of 40 acres and a mule. 40 acres and 2 mules were promised 100 years ago as restitution for slave labor and mass murder of black people. We will accept the payment in currency that will be distributed to our many communities. The American racist has taken part in the slaughter of over 50 million black people. Therefore, we feel this is a modest demand that we make. One of the things about this point is, if you don't know how to look into it, you may miss something. Well, one of the things is we know, the Panthers knew that the government it's not in the interest of the government to fulfill that obligation of the 40 acres and a mule. Hell, you got less than 40 acres. We don't, as a people, don't even got a house, let alone 1 acre or 40 acres. You know what I'm saying? A mule, most of them got vehicles. So, that's, you got even less than that. You know what I mean? So, when you look at that, you look at it like, well, why are we asking for 40 acres and a mule? No, that's something they said back then. So that's one of those things where it further exposes this system. You know what I mean? And it says it for itself. That's a modest demand. The word of 40 acres. That it's kind of like the only good voting do is show it don't work. You know what I mean? Number 4, we want decent housing fit for the shelter of human beings. We believe that if the landlords will not give decent housing to our black and oppressed communities, then housing and the land should be made into cooperatives so that the people in our communities with government aid can build and make decent housing for the people. Again, this is challenging the so-called government that y'all put faith in to do that. You know what I mean? Any society it shouldn't be no such thing as homeless people unless you just like sleeping outside. You should have a living quarters. It may not be what you want, you know what I mean, according to need or whatever, but you should have somewhere to go. A personal, private area for you to go. And if you got a family, of course you're going to need bigger space. If it's just you, you may not need, you get what you want. And that's how that should go. Number 5, we want education. This is one of my favorites. We want education for our people that exposes the true nature of this decadent American society. We want education that teaches us of our true history and our role in present-day society. Basically, we want true history. This is what we on YouTube doing and blogging and on the streets. Well, I know I am. You know what I'm saying? I don't just rock on this internet. I rock on the street. You know, hell. And then this ain't, to be bragging, but just for those haters out there that don't think I don't be out here just rocking. This me on the front page of this thing. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't even about all that though. But we get down. Matter of fact, we got the whole Black August. But forget all that. Where I was at, number 5, we want education for our people that expose the true nature of this decadent American society. Basically mean education for us African people. Of course, we can't expect nobody to educate us. You know what I mean? But, however, if this is our so-called government, our people want to be citizens, then shouldn't your government tell you the truth about who you are and what happened and everything else? As far as, what's been, exposed. And I can go on and on about the stuff that people, these words you use every day that was stolen from Africa. I can go on and on. That's going to be in another video. Number 6, we want completely free health care for all black and oppressed people. For one, yes, all that medical insurance, all that is just a game. And this today, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Should nobody have to fucking worry about paying if they get injured or hurt. If the technology is there, the shit should be free. You know what I mean? According to sick. You know what I mean? If you sick, then you just go in there and you get medicine. If you got shot or accident and you hurt, broke a limb, take your ass to the hospital. Why should they have to bill you and they feed you this shit for the labor and all this and that? No, that's bullshit. And you'll learn why. Just keep tuning in. Number 7, we want immediate end of police brutality and murder of black people, other people of color, all oppressed people inside the United States. So when we say all oppressed people, and I know that you've been noting, and we use the word black synonymous with African, so let's not get caught up with the wordplay. You know what I mean? And oppressed people. So therefore, anybody. You free black people, you free all people. You even free white people. You free everybody. So anybody oppressed, you know what I mean, is included. You know what I mean? But since black and African people, or African people, is the most oppressed, of course, this going to be us that's going to lead the revolution. Of course, the emphasis is going to be on us. We are the most oppressed. We got more of a motherfucking reason. You know what I mean? And excuse the language, but it ain't about all that. But you need to understand that. Anybody out there. Number 8, we want immediate end to all wars of aggression. What y'all don't know about basically war is profit, you know, and there's books out there that tell you the whole game, you know what I mean, about the whole Rothschild thing, what they got going on. If you don't know that, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of sheeple don't know that out here, but, you know, it ain't been no war in the United States, or in the world for that matter, you know what I mean, that wasn't orchestrated by these people. You know what I mean, that Illuminati. Yeah, that's true. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I always say, the only time the United States is not in war, they preparing for war. You know what I mean? So, number 9, we want freedom for all black and poor oppressed people now held in U.S. state, city, military prisons, and jails, and all persons trying with so-called laws of this country. See, and this is really why the Black Panthers was so potent, because what you need to understand is none of our people need to be in jail, especially people that done robbed and stole and sold drugs. If you did something for money, that's the government fault. They put you in a situation to do that. Now don't fall for the okie doke. You know what I mean? Because not only that us is, when I'm gonna speak more to my people. You know what I mean? We ain't being judged by a jury of our peers. When you go to trial, motherfuckers, they don't look like you. They don't make the same amount of money as you, or none of that shit. You know what I mean? So that right there lets you know. You know what I mean? So everybody that's in prison right now, if you ain't on no serial killer, child molester type, you know what I mean, you should be released. You know what I mean? Especially us. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm really speaking towards my people. I really don't have jurisdiction over nobody else. You know what I mean? So if you African, you the most oppressed. You know. You should know. Number 10. We want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, peace, and people, community control, and modern technology. You know, that pretty much wraps everything in one. You know what I mean? And then it goes on to say, you know what? Actually, I'm just gonna read it, at least the first paragraph. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitled them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impels them to the separation. Now, I'm going to read further. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, government are instituted upon men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, listen closely, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles, and organizing its powers in such form, as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate the governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience shall know that mankind are more disposed to suffer, which evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms of which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpation pursuing invariably the same object invices a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. So that's basically saying it's our God-given right as a person, a human being, to make sure that you live a peaceful life. But when you under this arrangement, slavery still, you know what I mean, and the government basically is killing you, it is your right to overthrow, to fight it off. It's your God-given right. You know what I'm saying? You know, God gave you a brain. He gave man dominion over earth. Therefore, you need to take care of yourself and this earth. But I know it's a lot to do with conditioning and all that, you know. But however, that's if if you just need to hear it, you know what I mean. And that's basically what that's saying. It's basically when the government fails its obligation to take care of its people, or the world, or the so-called government, but they want to lie to you and say, oh, well, you voted for this democracy. You know what I mean? Democracy is bullshit, okay? You know what I'm saying? The only good voting do is show that it don't work. You know, and I'm gonna add to this on the basis of that you know, if you listen to this video and you just heard what I just said, this is basically the needs of your people. So whatever, if you want to go out and wake people up, whatever you're doing, you need to be coming from this platform. And you need to build organizations. You know what I mean? Not capitalist organizations per se. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't, capitalism is pretty much the enemy. So how do you combat capitalism? Is basically through a social / communistic, I don't even know what it is. It could be neither or them. It's basically, because the opposite of capitalism perhaps is socialism, meaning in terms is we have to be able to become self-sustaining without dependent on their money. You know what I mean? And that is done by coming with institutions to manufacturing to produce our own goods so you can detach. You know what I mean? That's how that is done. So wherever you at and you trying to build, like I hear motherfuckers out here talking about, oh, what's the answer? That is the answer. So all power to the people.